Have you ever misjudged someone completely based on how they looked? It's something we all do, but it can lead to some seriously tricky situations and sometimes even dangerous ones. Today, we're diving into a classic story about a little mouse who learned this lesson the hard way. It's a tale that's been told for centuries, but its message is more relevant today than ever. So get comfortable, and let us explore the adventure of a very naive young mouse on his first trip out into the big wide world. Our story begins with a tiny mouse, full of curiosity and completely unaware of the world beyond his little hole. One sunny morning, he decided it was time for an adventure. He bravely poked his nose out, scurried along the wall, and turned a corner into a barnyard. It was a whole new universe for him, filled with strange sights, sounds, and smells. And that's when he saw them. Two creatures unlike anything he had ever imagined. One filled him with pure terror, while the other seemed like the kindest, gentlest soul he could ever hope to meet. He rushed back to his mother, his heart still pounding in his chest, eager to tell her everything. "Oh, Mother!" he squeaked, his whiskers twitching with excitement and fear. "You won't believe what I saw. I was just exploring the next yard when I came across two of the strangest creatures. One of them was the most frightening monster you can imagine." His mother listened patiently as her little one tried to describe the beast. "You should have seen him, Mother." The young mouse continued. "He was so bizarre. He had these pieces of bright red, raw-looking meat hanging from the top of his head and right under his chin. It was just dangling there. And he strutted around like he owned the place, digging his sharp toes into the dirt, and flapping his arms against his body like he was getting ready for a fight. He looked so aggressive and angry." The little mouse took a deep breath, his eyes wide with the memory. "The worst part was when he saw me. The moment he laid eyes on me, he opened his pony mouth wide, so wide I thought he was going to swallow me whole, and then he let out this horrible, piercing scream. It was a roar so loud and terrifying that it shook me to my core. I was so scared I thought my heart would stop right there. I've never been so frightened in my entire life." Can you guess what creature had scared our little friend so badly? Take a moment to think. This loud, strutting creature with red bits on its head. It was, of course, a barnyard cock, the rooster. But our young mouse, having never seen one before, saw not a simple bird, but a terrifying monster ready to attack. His perception was shaped entirely by the rooster's loud, assertive, and somewhat bizarre appearance. He saw the confident strut as aggression, the comb and wattle as grotesque flesh, and the morning crow as a roar of pure fury. But the story doesn't end there. "If it wasn't for that awful monster," the little mouse explained to his mother, "I would have stayed and made a new friend. There was another creature there, and oh, Mother, he was so lovely." The fear in his eyes was replaced by a look of admiration. He was the complete opposite of that noisy beast. He looked so good and gentle, so very kind. He went on to describe the second creature in great detail. He had this beautiful, thick fur that looked as soft as velvet. And his face was so meek and humble. He had this modest look about him, but his eyes were so bright and shiny, full of intelligence and warmth. He just sat there looking so peaceful and calm. The contrast between the two encounters couldn't have been more stark in the young mouse's mind. One was a nightmare, the other a dream. As he looked over at me, the mouse said with a sigh, he started to wave his long, elegant tail back and forth so gracefully, and I swear he even smiled at me. It was such a welcoming and friendly gesture. I just knew he was a good soul. I was sure he was about to come over and say hello to introduce himself. I was actually excited to meet him. This creature seemed to be everything the rooster was not: quiet, gentle, and inviting. The mouse was completely charmed. "I was just about to go over and talk to him," he said, his voice dropping with disappointment, "when that terrible monster, the one I told you about, let out another one of his screaming yells. It startled me so much that I didn't even think. I just turned and ran for my life all the way back here." He looked up at his mother, expecting sympathy for his missed opportunity to make a wonderful new friend. His mother looked down at him, her expression serious. She listened to his whole story, nodding slowly. When he finished, she took a deep breath and said, "My dear son," her voice was gentle but firm, "you have a lot to learn about the world. That gentle, pretty creature you were so charmed by, that was none other than the cat." The little mouse's jaw dropped. The cat? The creature they were always warned about? But he looked so nice, he stammered. His mother shook her head. Underneath that soft fur and quiet demeanor, He carries a deep-seated hatred for every single one of us. His meek look is a mask he wears to lure in the unsuspecting. That graceful tail and those bright eyes are not signs of friendship. They are the tools of a hunter. She then continued, and the other one? The loud, terrible monster that scared you so much? That was just a rooster. A bird. He makes a lot of noise and might look a little strange, but he wouldn't harm you in the least. He was just doing what roosters do. He has no interest in us. The lesson was slowly dawning on the young mouse. The creature he thought was a monster was harmless, and the one he thought was a friend was his mortal enemy. He had judged them completely and totally wrong, based only on how they looked and acted in that one moment. So be thankful, my child, his mother concluded, pulling him into a hug. Be thankful that the rooster's crow scared you away. It saved your life. You escaped a terrible fate today. And let this be a lesson for you as long as you live. Never, ever judge others by their outward appearances alone. Things are not always what they seem. A flashy, loud exterior might hide a harmless heart, while a quiet, charming appearance can conceal a dangerous nature. This story is a powerful reminder for all of us. We live in a world where first impressions are made in seconds. We scroll through profiles, see people on the street, and make snap judgments. We assume the loud, boisterous person is arrogant, and the quiet, reserved one is kind. But reality is so much more complex. People, like the cat and the cock in our story, are more than just their appearances. The true nature of a person lies in their character, their actions over time, not just in how they look or the first impression they make. So next time you meet someone new, try to remember the lesson of the young mouse. Look beyond the surface. Give yourself time to see the real person underneath. You might just be surprised by what you find. Thanks so much for watching and listening to this timeless tale with me. If you enjoyed this story and the lesson behind it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had an experience like the little mouse? Let's talk about it. See you in the next video.